Good afternoon and welcome to our 15-minute forum for this afternoon, and we are focusing this afternoon on engagement, which is our CPD group. We have been looking at the ways in which we can actually engage our students, the way that we can actually focus and interested and actually fully on task during the course of lessons. As a group, we were very much cross-curricular, a whole range of different departments represented, and having met half-termly, discussing a whole range of different sorts of activities that we used, we felt that it was actually going to be useful for this afternoon to actually go through some of the activities, some of the tasks that we've undertaken, and to look at how our students have reacted to those. So, studying technology, we have, first of all, some of the activities Mr. Bradbury actually participated in, which he presented to the students. And again, if you've looked at previous 15-minute forums, you will know that this was an activity that he very much enjoyed doing with the students, although there was a different reaction based on those two particular tasks. I hope you can work out the first one. I'm struggling to remember what the answer was to the first one. Second one's straightforward.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What's the second one?
Dr. Dolittle.
Absolutely. And Mr. Bradbury has put the answer to the first one on the website, so you can double check that because it's far too numerical for me. However, student feedback was they enjoyed puzzles. However, it was interesting the way that quite a few students said, you know what, although that was quite fun, it's quite nice to actually get on with the task to a certain extent. Although I think the second task went down better because they actually found it easier to work out. Mr. Bradbury, the man himself, who's just wandered into the room, was also a big fan of Jing. And again, on previous 15-minute forum, he talks us through how that actually works. And again, student response to that, positive all the way through. So the idea of being able to capture those moments during the course of the lesson and then share that and then use that was very much something that students enjoyed. And therefore, particularly with our comment from less able students, helped them feel confident and helped them to feel that actually they were more independent and they could function without necessarily have to rely on the teacher all the time. Our thought-provoking images, and again, just something which is more visual, something which again is going to be more kinesthetic, and which is going to allow students to approach tasks in a slightly different way. In this particular case, being able to just react, just think about what you're being given in those particular images, stimulate discussion, stimulate that response. Our student response, good starting point for ideas. And again, it's just a variation, something that we felt as a team actually worked very well. Slightly more out of the ordinary, but again, treasure hunt. The idea of putting different questions, cunningly disguised around the room, getting students to actually work at it, actually getting them to piece together the overview of what they're doing, creates that sort of a buzz, creates that sort of a response that we're looking for because they're actively involved. And what particularly appealed to one of the students when asked about it afterwards was the fact that the reward was they got to be the teacher to tell everyone else what to do at the end of the lesson. Result. Citizenship, jigsaw, groups of students given this blank jigsaw at the start, key focus of relationships, the idea that each student actually contributes, puts in a word as one of the jigsaw pieces, so that you get this coming together of different ideas and different reactions, different approaches, and obviously the added advantage is visual again, so you get a clear, tangible end product and something which the students feel is just a little bit different, just to get those ideas flowing, those ideas focused. Student response takes away some of the pressure. You know, we do put students under pressure sometimes to actually respond straight away and to give us answers. This actually allows a little bit more of a measured approach and allows students to actually respond in a way that they feel comfortable with. brilliant graphics on this one with the cliffhanger ending. It is nothing new, the idea of the cliffhanger ending as far as we're concerned with English. But what was a little bit different was doing the closing lines, opening lines activity, where basically you give the students a closing line. Fairly obvious what type of genre it's going to be, but they have to come up with the opening line. So you miss out all the middle bit, but just go for the start and the finish. And if they've worked it out properly, and they've worked out that this is horror, or this is murder mystery, or whatever, then the opening line should reflect that. And then they get the added bonus, the added excitement to be able to read it out in the appropriate tone of voice to match that particular genre. Can be a little bit frustrating sometimes if they're not quite in tune with the particular genre they've been given. So science fictions raise a few eyebrows at times, some of you struggle with that, but it can be funny and it can be more exciting as well as a result. And then there's Countdown. And Terminology Hangman as well. Just simple, straightforward language starters. But again, just that idea of getting students involved straight away, sense of competition, sense of actually challenging each other, looking to see how they can actually use words effectively. Or in the case of Terminology Hangman, do they actually know the terms they should know, and can then apply those when they come to actually do a piece of work based on a text. And as we suggested at the end there, the possibility that maybe this sort of technique, this sort of activity could transfer quite comfortably to other subject areas as well. Makes me competitive, was the comment that came back on this particular one. And then the classroom environment. The idea of just changing things around, just taking them out of their comfort zone to a certain extent, just making it different enough for them to actually just think about where they are, and think about what they're doing. So, particularly for drama, lighting, sense of atmosphere as students enter the room, the idea of changing things, even just simple things like getting into a circle for discussions, or you can go to the other extreme. And although Mrs. Sloggett wasn't part of our group for this particular engagement CPD, we did talk about the fact that at one point she completely rearranged her classroom to look like an earthquake zone, and the students came in, it was completely out of the ordinary, everything everywhere out of place, in order to try and suggest what it would really be like if you're in that situation, in that context. And therefore, think about your setting, think about where you are, how you use it. As the comment says, having it set out differently, something out of the ordinary, you're not quite sure what to expect, and therefore, engaging. And then, 3D images, again, quirky, just a little bit different, just to make the students sit up and take notice and enjoy it. So, a number of things came up from the feedback that we had from students. When they were asked to actually comment, they were asked to suggest the sorts of things that they particularly liked. These were the sorts of things that came up. Making sure that those starters link to the lesson and what the lesson is actually about, rather than just being completely detached and completely removed from what's happening during the main part of the lesson, some sort of connection they seem to like. More opportunities to work in silence, strangely, which isn't necessarily what you might have expected, but just being able to get their heads down and focus and think about what they're doing. Lots of variety in the tasks that they're doing, that pace at the start. You may or may not be surprised to see, teacher stops talking as much as possible, let's just get on with something. Practical demonstrations, just breaking things down, and that's where the Jing in particular seems to work quite well. Students enjoying it when other students are actually taking that lead role and actually leading things on. And again, we know this, but it's nice for students to actually have a chance to reinforce that for us. Being able to get out of their seats, move around, take control of the plenary at the end of the lesson, so they're running the show, taking on that role of the teacher, having that sense of ownership of what's actually happening. But all those sorts of things came up very regularly during the course of the feedback that we had. And that was what we came up with. as part of our engagement. Simply do. Would you like to contribute? Any questions? Anything to add? Any particularly spectacular starters that have been used?
One yesterday.
Share it with us.
Neodymium magnets in a copper pipe. Teaching electromagnetic induction. If you drop them through, they take ages to fall through because that juice is cold and it really does get sticky. But it's just literally weird.
So how long does it take from one end to the other?
About 10, 15 seconds.
It's quite a long time,
You put
isn't
a
it?
pencil through it, it goes shwhoop. And then you can show a video of the world's largest one. It takes 2.5 minutes for it to fall through.
How long is that? Like what sort of distance we're
About
talking?
the size of this film. It takes 2.5 minutes for this tube to fall through. It's very cool.
I think anything's grab their attention.
Science is quite
isn't it?
yes.
So we've got, you know,
We've got quite a lot of things like that.
Yeah, I think one of the things from the students was that a lot of teachers sometimes they do that, grab their attention at the start, and then they'll go on and start talking for about 10 minutes before they do something. So it's about, well, don't get us all excited and then stop us and talk to us for ages. So it's like up and down and then they don't get up again. It's more about how can you get on quickly so they're doing after you've had that moment of ball in the lesson. It's particularly with IT, we might show them, I don't know, an example of a website, and then typically we'd have spent the next, I don't know, 15 minutes demonstrating all the bits how it's made. So that feedback about chunking up the different things was, well, can't you just demonstrate that little bit, and stop us, and then we'll do that little bit, and then stop us. So the demonstrations weren't one big demonstration at the start, it was kind of more little episodes within the lesson. And I think that the feedback indicated a lot that a lot of teachers sometimes will do that moment of awe, and then they'll lose that excitement because they've then been spoken to for about 10 minutes afterwards.
Thank you very much, sir.